Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching Wednesday, Season 1, Episode 3, Friend or Woe. And in this show, I'm going to say both, definitely both. I am very excited to see where this show goes next. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and let's go!
And no idea
This is the
if I'm
secret
going to
society
live or
that's
die.
definitely disbanded.
It's definitely my kind of party.
Yeah, the group kind of lost its charter 30 years ago after some normie kid died.
But we have a lot
Oof,
of wealthy
that's gonna be her dad.
Looks the
Only members are allowed in this library.
I mean, induct her, if she's pretty elite.
I said we invited a pledge. She has a legacy.
After the crap she pulled in the poke-up, there's no way in hell.
What do you do in the poke-up?
Because I beat you at your own game?
Exactly.
The trouble. I'm not interested.
I mean, I don't think she'd want to join, but...
seriously turning us down?
Can you believe it?
Untie her.
I freed myself 5 minutes ago.
Has she even been there for 5 minutes?
The question is, why am I sharing this apocalypse with a pilgrim?
Yes.
It's weird that you're in this. I mean, this journal is like, what, 30 years old? And what the hell is Crackstone doing in a picture with you?
You know who that is?
Oof.
Yeah, it's Joseph Crackstone. He's like Jericho's founding father. It's kind of a big deal around here.
There's something lurking in the woods, no doubt connected to that school.
Come on, will you stop pointing fingers at Nevermore? You know how much Jericho depends on that place.
There's no proof it is linked to Nevermore. You have to consider it.
Your salary.
Fake a smile of all.
Welcome, Nevermore Academy.
I mean, I definitely, when I visited America when I was a kid, we went to something like this. Like, it's interesting to learn, but does it show all sides of the history? Because I feel like the one I went to when I was a kid did not.
Genießen Sie Ihr authentisches Pilgerfahrt als Kakaobohnen, bezogen von den unterdrückten Bewohnern des Amazon. Bereit, die amerikanischen Geschichte auf Fress zu erhalten.
Oh, Wednesday.
Pledge wurde erst 258 Jahre.
Like, this kind of face could be good if it was teaching the true whole picture. You can't hide from the bad bits.
Howdy, pilgrims. Let him go.
I love Wednesday so much.
Remember what happened the last time we...
Well, deserved.
Little back booth when I come in for my daily matcha latte.
I knew it.
Miss Thornhill, please.
I am basically suspicious of everybody as being the monster.
You said hummers stick together.
I know this might come.
You remind me of my brother.
I can
Sense the
see.
desire to strangle him. I think this is the girl from my vision.
History repeating
She's in the
itself?
same book. That's Latin for Book of Shadows.
Spell book?
I don't know who Etsy is, but I doubt she was an outcast settler. Most people are scared of them, so it would just be us, them, against the world.
Wow. That was deep.
They're very sweet.
You know, by the way,
Should get a killer view from there.
cool. Hey, have fun.
Oh, this clueless child.
By the way, you...
Just you would ask me on a freaking date!
Oh! So,
She would like to go on a date with
want to
you.
meet up behind the greenhouse tonight?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Hey, Ajax! Can you help me move the badger dentist to the front window?
Did he say yes?
I can't believe he asked.
Oh, bless her. He asked.
I told you he was bad news.
Twice. But who I speak to is my business.
And like, it's her business. And plus, if you gave her like a reason, like he did X, Y, Z, there's this whole history where he's this awful person, maybe she would weigh it all up and consider. But like, just being like, stay away from him. Fuck you.
The ruins are kind of tricky to find. I could take you this afternoon.
He's
and
too
show you
nice.
Principal Williams would hang, draw, and quarter me if I missed the big statue
And I was
dedication.
intrigued about what.
And as enticing as that sounds, I'd prefer to keep a low profile.
I do think Xavier is jealous and potentially interested in Wednesday, but I also feel like there probably is or was an incident with him, and I want to know what it was.
Besides, oh, you want me to prove it to you?
It would have been so funny if that triggered a vision.
Visions are about as predictable as shark attacks.
Is she gonna touch the door and get a vision? Was she an outcast or whatever? Missed her name.
Goody Adams!
I thought so. Fuck.
Judged before.
You are the true monster, all of you!
So there's some sort of historical cycle repeating.
Abominations and the devils of every outcast.
Oof.
Godless creatures.
Yep. If outcasts have always been known, that would definitely be the past. And that's the man this town honours and has a statue of.
I shan't leave without you.
It wasn't against magical outcasts where these kind of atrocities happened.
I won't stop until he's killed us all! He's here.
There will be no escape for you.
Jesus
Thing,
Christ.
I saw her.
It's the monster you?
Must have been the bearded man from earlier.
Yep. It didn't attack her again. Did the footprints become human-sized?
What exactly are you doing here?
I overheard you say
It's it's not him.
Guess it's lucky I showed up when I did. And the first thing they'll tell you is that psychic visions can't be trusted. They only show you one part of the picture.
You saw Rome's drawing. Crackstone was standing in the quad.
You're creating a story in your head and using visions to back it up. They're telling you what you want to see.
Are you mansplaining my power?
It doesn't necessarily mean it was Crackstone, his ghost, or him becoming immortal. I think it could be anybody from the town now dressed in the same way, or it could be someone from the town now fulfilling the same role, like the sheriff who's kind of leading the town, who hates outcasts. He could just be filling the role of trying to burn down the school, and burn down all the outcasts there or something.
Starting with that monster. Whoever it is.
Yeah, she's like, it could be you. I don't think it's him, because if the monster was trying to hide who they were, he wouldn't have stuck
I thought
around.
nothing scared me. But that was before I stared into the eyes of Joseph Crackstone.
Yes, true evil.
Never faced an adversary cast in bronze.
I'll just put another one up. You need to find historical proof of his atrocities and get it legally taken down. Snatching it as well can be a good sign.
Our community and our friends at Nevermore Academy, we've built a monument to celebrate his memory. Now may the spirit of Joseph
Jesus
Crackstone
Christ,
be
Nevermore
memorialized
helped
for
do
eternity.
the memorial for the man that killed versions of their ancestors. Please say it's gonna. I wanted it to explode. Oh god. It was bigger than I thought it was gonna be. Maybe you should have stopped playing and acted shocked, otherwise you just look suspicious. I wonder who could have done it.
They want answers, and so do I.
I would lead the Inquisition, but I left my thumbscrews and rack at home.
Miss Adams.
My hands are clean. Don't you know it's real history with outcasts? The actual story of Joseph Crackstone?
I do, to an extent.
Then why be complicit in its cover-up? Those who forget history are doomed to repeat it.
Maybe this is a chance to rewrite the wrongs, to start a new chapter in the normie-outcast relation.
Nothing has changed since Crackstone.
Would be
They still hate
good,
us.
but you can't just
Now
pretend
they
everything's
sugarcoat it with
better.
platitudes but it's either they write our story or we do. You can't have it both ways.
Oof.
You're exhausting.
I know.
One of the people they killed
You
was a
should
grandmother, and along with a lot of other people.
I don't tire easily.
That was a good comeback, but it was a very delayed one. Oh lord, is he gonna get murdered by the monster, or is he gonna see something else? You're gonna get a picture of the monster. It's like, whoever this monster is, they don't attack Wednesday, which leads me to believe it's gonna be Tyler. I don't know why, but just because he's just like, I don't think, I mean, I suppose it could be Enid if her wolfing doesn't happen but it happens like out of control and she's not becoming a wolf, she's becoming something else. But I don't know. It has to be someone that likes Wednesday. I don't think it's Xavier. I might have considered him before he turned up after she was like following the monster, because I think that's too convenient. But maybe it's too convenient to triple bluff us. But then would he have had time to get dressed that quickly? Because the footprints were anyway. So my current theory is that it's Tyler, which is largely just because he's nice. And he's too nice to being a normie, and he's that nice. And if apparently he used to not be nice, maybe becoming a monster made him be like, hey, I'm an outcast too. I don't know. But then the fact that like whoever this monster is, they have enough control when they're the monster to not kill Wednesday, but they do just go around murdering random people as well. It's very intriguing. I have no idea what's going on. I have my random suspect. I mean, I suppose it could be someone we haven't even met yet. It's probably someone we've met, but it's in episode 3. And maybe someone that's linked to the story, someone that also has had visions or knows about Goody Adams, because Wednesday looks a lot like her and does her hair the same, and so maybe someone that's connected to the Adams family, and so like doesn't hurt Wednesday because of the Adams connection. That could be it as well, I suppose. We'll find out.
Wish me luck. If he breaks your heart, I'll nail gun his.
That's love.
I don't
Friendship.
believe in mandatory volunteer.
Get back in the school, kid. She's a suspect, I suppose, because she turned up at the school recently. Oof. She's not a normie at all, right? She's just in disguise somehow? Though if she's here in disguise, does the head know? Oh no, he's not going to come because he's going to turn himself to stone? She'll find out he got turned to stone and that he didn't stand her up. It'll be alright, Enid. He'd have a better system, surely. She said it was temporary. Does he does it undo after time, or? Oh god. Maybe she's the monster.
The walls of this school.
Like, is he having angsty I'm a monster thoughts?
There are monsters everywhere.
Well, he has anger issues regardless. What are you up to, sir? Very what are you up to?
But I'm looking now.
Suspicious, but...
Until I find the truth.
Oh, is he the monster? And then he got the scratches anyway? But no, I think no, he's too obvious. I'm enjoying myself with my random theories. I'm not gonna stop. I will probably suspect everybody on the show other than Wednesday. Proof it's not a bear. This show is so well done. I 100% could tell from... I mean, sometimes a show gets hyped when it comes out and then you watch it and you're a bit disappointed, but this one is not disappointed and I can see why it got all the hype it did. The flashbacks I absolutely loved, or the vision, seeing the truth of what happened in Jericho and how so many of those sentiments still exist today, definitely is a very clear parallel to a lot of problems in society today, in America in particular. They do still exist in the UK. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that we live in a perfect society, because we fucking don't. But this show is set in America. You can definitely, you know, yes, in the real world there weren't atrocities like that being committed against outcasts, but there were atrocities being committed against a lot of people. So it's interwoven history. And at this point, I'm kind of discounting that Crackstone is literally going to come back and be doing shenanigans. I feel like potentially there could be someone in the town who's like his descendant or something, who's going to be causing problems, or just somebody in the town who maybe fills the same role as him, like the sheriff, or is kind of like just dressing his clothes or whatever, like from the Pilgrim world. Maybe they will go down a different twist and we will have Crackstone himself. I think it's tied into the hatred, and that act of violence and that atrocity will probably be kind of linked to a lot of the sentiments, a lot of what's going on. In terms of the monster, my suspects are Tyler, the teacher. No, Enid was at a date, so it's not Enid. I mean, I didn't actually seriously think it was Enid. I'm just trying to figure out if it's someone we know. I feel like it has to be the teacher, like Christina Ricci, you know who I mean, the teacher, or Tyler. or Xavier, but they've made him so obviously as a potential suspect that whenever someone is that obvious, I'm like, it's definitely not them. But that could be a triple double bluff. Or it could also, like I said, be someone we haven't met yet. It could be something linked to stuff her parents did when they were here, to do with the normie that got murdered. I presume that is when her parents were here. It could all be linked into that they started something, and so that's why it like sees Wednesday and it's like us and Adams. I like them. I don't know. Regardless of if he's a monster or not, I just want to get to know more about Tyler, because this was kind of the first glimpse we saw of him not being perfect, like the perfect boy next door. Obviously we knew he had problems with his dad, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad person, obviously. He's just been so understanding and supportive of Wednesday, not viewing her the least bit different despite the fact that she's an outcast. And that could just be like, at first I was willing to take him at face value because like there are nice people in the world and there are going to be people who don't have prejudices, especially I suppose if you live in a town where you see outcasts a lot when they come from the school and you kind of think, well, they're just kids like us, they just happen to be different. But it's the fact that Xavier said he and his friends, I can't remember his exact wording, but he said something about how Tyler and his friends were obnoxious jerks or something. And that made me wonder, if he used to run with the anti-outcast crowd, what changed? And in general, something changed. Something that means, oh, we knew he had problems because we knew he had to go to therapy. So something's happening. He's got court-mandated therapy. There was something that happened enough for Xavier to warn Wednesday, and perhaps like some of that could have just been, I boy, I like you, don't want that other boy near you. But it kind of felt like frustrating because he teased this concept that something happened and didn't say what it was, and I want to know. Because monster or not, I want to know if we can trust Tyler. I mean, the scream under the water, he's definitely got some anger issues going on. Could be related to being a monster, could just be related to being a teenage boy with a shit dad in a small town. But I'm interested in his character so far, and I can't wait to peel back the layers and find out what is going on there. Similarly with Xavier, I want to know what he's got locked up in that shed. I mean, I love him as an actor, and from The Gifted. He's like, with my finger. Oh my god, I can't, like, he's there, but you can't see it. In that family, in the purple picture, he's right up there. But no, I love seeing actors across things. But regardless, I don't think he's the monster because he was too quick on the scene after she was following the monster. But he's got something or someone locked up in a greenhouse and he got scratches. Is that linked to the nightshades? So that is very, very interesting. Does he know about the monster and is he helping the monster out? Maybe he's like the monster's keep. Maybe the nightshades keep the monster and it keeps escaping and they're a bit bad at looking after it. I have 1,000 theories right now. But I'd like to get to know more about, you know, what makes him tick. Why is he hanging around? Is it just because he likes Wednesday, or is there something sinister going on? I'm always going to suspect something sinister. Enid is everything and I absolutely adore her. I hope she finds out the guy whose name I've forgotten got turned to stone and didn't ditch her date. He was making himself look pretty, ready for the date, and he had an accident. You need to secure that town more, like have that town more securely, or not have a mirror. Like, surely, I suppose if he shares the bathroom with a non-Gorgon, they'd want a mirror, but there needs to be like a mirror with doors that close, and so when he's in there, he closes the doors, and when it's someone else, they open, like, because you know I was waiting for that town to fall. She got a little bit angry, a little bit upset when her heart broke, but that's okay because she's got. Enid definitely is a character that feels things very strongly, and we've seen her talking about how she doesn't want to be alone and how feels like she's a lone wolf, and so this idea that she kind of, when they were talking about the rat and the ferret or whatever, was saying that like, oh, we could be us against the world. Like, I think the idea of finding someone and having a person who's there for her and cares about her would mean beyond the world to her. And I think this little boy does like her. She just needs to understand that he got turned to stone. And she said it would be temporary. So I'm assuming that means it either wears off after a while or there is something that can be done to reverse it. But so I just hope in the next episode she knows why she got stood up. And I did enjoy Wednesday's like wish me luck, and then like if he hurts, breaks your heart, I'll nail his heart. Like, they're friends. As much as Wednesday would be like, I don't have friends. They're friends and we like it. Headmistress is definitely shady and it's so interesting. You know, kind of when Morticia was there, they were like, oh yes, we were both in Ophelia House. She hates her. She hates Morticia so much. I'm very intrigued with what she's going on. She's obviously covering up Rowan's death not very well. What happened with Rowan's family? Like, I'm just very like, what does she know about the monster and what's going on? Or is she just afraid it will be linked to the school and wants to make sure there are no links? It's just so intricate and intriguing, and I cannot wait to unravel it all. Wednesday is, of course, a delight. I have just her one-liners are everything. Her disdain for Pilgrim World, even before she knew that it had a personal attachment, was everything. I mean, like I said, I went to one of those, to a place like that. I can vaguely remember it. I was like 7. I went in 2001. Went up the Twin Towers in July, like with my family, and we went in Boston. I think we went to some kind of place that was like that, and there were the actors and everything. And as a kid, I loved history, and so I knew nothing about American history, so I was just soaking up anything. But my parents, I always they sat me down and they were like, here are the atrocities that happened. But I know they bought me some books on it, and like we talked about it, and as I got older I learned the full scale of stuff. And I think that kind of place, like, yes, the Pilgrims, whatever, is a facet of American society and history, and it is interesting to see how they lived. But at the same time, you can't gloss over the dark parts of the history just because you want to glorify the good parts. You need to be like, you know, have a section dedicated to the bad stuff too, if you're going to have one of those places. But yeah, it's hard to watch the whole like Cragstone flashback and everything. Wednesday is dedicated to this case and to these mysteries. I love that she turned on the nightshades. I think it could be good for her to join them, partly because she could potentially take over and put Bianca in her place, but just because in general, having, you know, people around her is always good. People around her as far as she wants them, like, you know, at a safe distance. But I totally understand why she said no. I was kind of expecting her to say no, but also Bianca's reasoning for not inviting her was stupid. She's both a legacy, and all she did in the Poe race was what you do in the Poe race. But of course she turned them down. Wednesday is a force of nature, and I'm so excited to see where she goes next. So yeah, a reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and thank you so much for watching.